I came into teaching, I was already about 40 years old, and I came into teaching with absolutely no experience. I didn't have any formal education in methodology, classroom management. I had never set foot in a high school. I grew up in France and graduated high school in France. And then all of a sudden, I received a phone call from Dr. Williams, who at the time was principal of Central High School, and I was vacationing in Yellowstone with my family. I was in a mini supermarket with very bad cell phone reception, and she said, well, we have an opening at Central High School. So I really stumbled onto that position and didn't come, as a decision. And, I thought it was the greatest thing ever. The content wasn't hard, but everything from the first day I stepped into that classroom was difficult. The classroom management, the structure, the lesson plan, the grading, everything was new. Even though I touched on education and all the jobs that I've had previously. I worked in early childhood, I worked with practicum for occupational and physical therapy students, I did interpretive programs for museums. I always had a foot in education, but that was really how I fell into education, just by a phone call that led to me entering the classroom. My philosophy of teaching has reflected not only my professional growth, it has reflected my experience in the classroom, seeing how students react to learning a foreign language, and it also has followed the research and what research is telling us. So I don't think you can have a philosophy of teaching that's one and done, that you never look at again. I think it has to be a constantly a reevaluation of what the philosophy is and how you're going to approach your philosophy to meet your objective. Students understand foreign languages. They think it's hard, it's different, but once you put them into the context, once you put them into the atmosphere, and the key is to start right away. It's to just not, just do it, just speak, just make it work, just write, just read. Students can't do it. They think they cannot, but they can do it. There's no one that cannot learn. Learning a language is no different than a baby learning how to speak. And it's exactly the same process. I always tell my students, you're in first grade, you're that baby, but you're on an accelerated pattern, meaning it's not going to take you 5 years before you can write. You're going to speak, read, write, and listen almost instantaneously at the same time. So just like a baby, you just give them more and more input that they can hear, that they can read, that they can see, and then they start absorbing it. They just take it in and then they use it. And then you just stand behind and you say, I think you did a good job with this, but what else could you do to make it a little bit better? So I think that's really it. Just let them do it, step out of it, let them negotiate when they can, when they speak with a partner and they can understand one another. Let them figure out. Say, can you repeat? I don't understand. I have a problem. Help, let them figure it out. It has to be messy. I think as a teacher, that's the most uncomfortable thing that I've had to do. Not be able to be in control or just let go a little bit. But I think this has been better. I'm having way more fun. I still have students who are not interested in it or don't want to learn it or think it takes too much time, too much effort, which, we want to develop strong students, and it takes, a little bit of them, a little bit of me together. When I started at Central 11 years ago, you did not hear a foreign language in the hallways. And now if you walk around the hallways of Central or Benton and Lafayette, you will hear in particular Spanish speaking. And then on occasion, now you will also hear French and then other languages like Chin. So I think there are a lot of benefits. First of all, it exposes all our students, in particular our students that are English speakers who may have never traveled abroad, to those worlds outside. It makes them realize, yes, there are people around the world that do speak different languages. So I think this is wonderful because we are talking about a world that's a global world, and where skills as a 21st century citizen is to really be culturally competent. And even if a student does not learn that language, just the fact that they are able to understand that cultures have differences and how to approach those differences, I think it's great. That's again bringing what can we do to prepare our students to be more competitive. So I think this is wonderful.